Hi folks, I'm Dr. David Bardsley. Well, if you were anything like me, you were taught that we are all born with a certain degree of intelligence, which we inherit from our parents. And that amount of intelligence remains fixed and unchanged throughout our lifetime. Well, we now know that that old theory is completely wrong. During my seminars and keynote speeches, I present the latest scientific information and the best practices on how we can increase our intellectual ability at any stage of life, whether we're 6, 66, or 106. Let me show you how. Study after study has repeatedly shown that there is only one known modality that not only increases, but more importantly balances, not 1, not 2, not 3, but all 60 of the known neurotransmitters. And no, it is not Prozac, Ritalin, or Zoloft. It is vigorous physical exercise. If exercise came in pill form, it will be heralded as the mental health drug of all time. What it does for your body is secondary. That's just a side benefit. It's what it does for your brain that is truly remarkable. And it does so much more than just balance the neurochemicals. It actually changes the structure of the brain itself. Some researchers were doing some behavioral experiments, and they were using genetically identical mice, all from the same strain. And they found that quite by accident that some of these mice were smarter than the other mice. They performed much better on the cognitive tests they were doing. And they thought to themselves that this shouldn't be. These mice all came from the same genetic strain. And they're brought up in the same cages. And scientists believe that 50% of our intelligence is inherited and 50% is developmental. It comes from our surroundings. But here were identical mice brought up in exactly the same cages, the same number of mice in each cage. They gave them the same food, the same water. And yet some of them were a lot smarter than the other ones. And then they sacrificed the mice and they looked at their brains under a microscope. And they were dumbfounded by what they saw. They saw thousands and thousands of new brain cells, new neurons. Well, mice are like us, they're mammals. And everybody knows that we're born with about 100 billion brain cells. But after our birth, we start to lose those cells. They start to die off throughout life. In fact, we lose about 90,000 a day. And once a brain cell dies, it's gone. It's gone forever. It's never replaced. Your skin cells, bone cells, intestinal cells, they're replaced every day of life. But when a brain cell dies, it's gone forever. Now here is proof in front of them under the microscopes that that whole theory, which has been taught for over 100 years, is completely wrong. And it turns out that we can, in fact, grow new brain cells at any stage of our lives, whether we're 6, 66, or 106. Well, it wasn't very long after he had purchased the property that my father recognized the name on one of those rental office doors. It was the same child psychiatrist who had diagnosed me as mentally retarded 21 years before. So, for 100 days, my father marched into that psychiatrist's office, planted himself in front of the desk, reached into his pocket, took out one of my business cards and said, "By the way, my son, the retarded maxillofacial surgeon, is doing just fine. Thanks for asking." And I thank you.